Hey everybody, how is it going? This is Lance Tomashiro. Hope you are having a great day. And look, the fact of the matter is that things are changing and they're changing rapidly on the internet. And the truth is that everybody is fighting for attention. It doesn't matter whether it is social media, it doesn't matter whether it's email marketing, it doesn't matter whether it's search results or AdWords. Everybody is vying to get attention from their target audience, specifically their buyers and their prospects. And one of the things that is currently the trend to keep a lot of people engaged is the whole idea of quizzes, of taking these things online, of seeing what the answers are. And what we're going to show you today is something that takes that whole idea of the quiz, both for paid and free membership style sites, to the next level, where it incorporates the gamification of quizzes into literally choose your own adventure type of membership sites. And the reality is, in this year on the internet and in marketing, the people that keep attention, that grab attention, that do things new and that do things that are different, but still familiar to current audiences, are going to be the ones that win. So we're really excited to show you what we've been working on for the last couple of months here today. We're going to talk about getting refocused. We're going to talk about making your membership sites fun again. And what I want you to do is, this is live, so find that question box while we bring out Robert Plank, and I want you to type in engagement, because that's what it's about. If we can get our prospects engaged, if we can get our buyers engaged, that's how you're going to take your business to this level. So looks like you know where that question box is. It looks like you are all ready to go. If at any point you have a question, go ahead and ask that in that same question box that you just typed engage in, and Robert will work that in. And in the meantime, help me welcome Robert Plank.
Heck yeah. Well, thank you for the wonderful introduction, Mr. Lance Tomashiro. Lance and I are really excited to, as he said, show you what we've been building the last couple of months and help you get to that next level in your membership sites. And next level doesn't necessarily mean that you had to work 10 times harder on things or work 10 times as many hours or hire 10 more staff members. It just means that you have more reach, you have more fun, you have more money. And a lot of the times what people out there are looking for are simpler. A lot of the times people are looking for results. I mean, there's always a new brand of smartphone coming out every single year from all these different companies. And will smartphones ever get to the point where they say, okay, well, we finally built the last smartphone you'll ever need? Well, heck no. There will always be some improvement, but sometimes an improvement means taking things away, right? Sometimes in improvement things, you have an easier time getting to where you need to go. And that's what we're going to be talking about here today, is membership sites, all right? And getting you to where you need to go with your membership sites. But that doesn't always mean piling on more tasks for you to do. It just might mean that you need to refocus and do more of the important tasks and take out 80% of all those tasks that aren't serving you, that aren't making you money. And when it comes to you creating the content, the membership sites, the websites, all those things that you need to do, it might just mean that you're making things simpler and easier process for you and your buyers and your would-be buyers. So I know that everyone out there, including myself, to be honest, when we talk about things like a membership site, it's easy to get carried away, and then carried away turns into overwhelmed. So let's not even think about membership sites when we're talking about sites today. Let's just think about a website. And even then, let's think about the websites that you are dreaming about, that you want to make, that you want to use to sell a bunch of ebooks, products, courses, whatever. What are those bare bones steps that you really need to create that basic course, to get online, to start selling, get your first couple of members, and then add on things later when you feel like it? How about this? Just a .com domain web address, just a website, just a web page. A web page, again, people, when they think about web page, you think, oh, it's got to have some like big long thing and all these tabs and all these graphics and these videos and this opt-ins. And again, driving ourselves crazy, let's just think a web page, let's just say it's a simple web page with a headline, a couple of bullet points about why to buy, and that's it. I mean, I'll pull up a quick web page for you right now, and this is the plugin that I'm going to show you in a few minutes here, wpquizbuilder.com. Now, we've been needing for a long time to create this ability to have a quiz on our website, but you know what? Sometimes when you have a big, long, crazy web page and it has all these different stories and facts and features, sometimes it's like I'm finding myself just scrolling around just trying to find the meat of it. So check this out, wpquizbuilder.com. We have our headline, make your membership site stand out. We have our subheadline, and then we have a quick 7-minute video demoing the plugin. But other than that, it's just a few bullet points about what it is, why you should get it, the button, and why does it have to be any more complicated than that? We can always go back and add a couple more sentences, a couple more screenshots. We can always go back and add an opt-in form, a pop-up, multiple tabs, testimonials, extra features, FAQ page, bonuses. We could add all those things, but why not get things to where they're doable, where they're online, where they're selling, and then you can go back and do the extra steps later on, but don't let yourself get bogged down by having to do 5,000 different things. If you had a web page with just a buy button on it, or just a headline and some bullet points, then the buy button, doesn't that get you started? Aren't you going to be a lot more encouraged by having something in place right now, even if it's not the prettiest web page, even if the headline could be better, even if you could add some text, but it's functional? Someone could go there, someone can click a button, someone could buy. Wouldn't that be more encouraging than just having some pipe dream pie in the sky thing that's just always in your head, and then next thing you know, it's been in your head for weeks, for months, for years, and then you're like, I haven't even taken one single step to doing this. I haven't even spent 10, 20 minutes on this, but I'll get to it someday. But then you build up that resentment because you haven't even made any sort of progress for it. And you know what that's called? That's called all or nothing thinking. That's thinking to yourself, well, unless I can have all this stuff in place, why even start? It's saying, well, let me map out the next 3 years of my life. Why would you do that to yourself? You don't even know what's going to happen in the next 3 years. Not even the next 3 days. So why would you plan out all this stuff and it has to go exactly this way? And if I miss one step out of the 300 steps in the next 3 years, then the whole plan falls apart. So why would you do all that planning, put all that time and work in something when the future is unpredictable anyway? So just control what you can control now, the next couple of days, next couple of hours, the time that you carve out for what's important for you right now, which is your membership site, your website standing out. Have you ever heard about this whole concept of putting out 99-cent Kindle books? People can write a quick book, put it on Amazon, which sounds great, right? Problem: Amazon's crowded. And many times you put out a Kindle book and it only makes $1 or $2 per month, or $10 or $20 per month. And these people that have these huge digital publishing empires, they have 100, 200, 300 books. So people get discouraged saying, well, I want to publish some Kindle books, but, I need 50 to make a good amount of money. So I'm not even going to make one. I need to make 50. So again, why do that to yourself? Or when it comes to membership sites, I don't even have one paying member, but you know what? I want to have 1,000 members at $20. I want to have 5,000 members at $20, but then they can't even get to the point where they just get the one member coming in the door. Or they say, I've heard that I need to have testimonials on my page. I heard that I need to have bonuses. I need to have upsells. I need to make it so that when someone buys from me, they buy this thing, and then it's like, no thanks, I don't want this extra thing. No thanks, I don't want that. And you see it looking really slick in place. You see other people having this, and then people say, unless I have this one thing, this upsell funnel, why even bother? Well, again, do you really need all these things? Do you really need 50 Kindle books when one can get the job done? Do you really need 1,000 members? Well, 1,000 members would be great, but you have to start with one. So think about that today. Make one sale, just get started, just get going, and that alone will be more progress than most people make. And a lot of people fall into this all or nothing thinking. They say, I can't create a podcast because I don't have 200 episodes. Well, you know what number comes before 200? The number 1, right? I can't make this course because I want to have 100 sales. Well, one sale comes before 100 sales, and then that's a different problem that you can focus on, right? I think a lot of people out there, and maybe this is you, maybe not, but they're trying to solve it all at once, right? They're trying to do it all. Instead, we focus on the setup first. Once that's done, then you focus on the promotion and the marketing, but then you can divert all of your focus to just one thing because you took those small, easy steps. Now, check out this guy right here. This guy that we're looking at, he's biting into, I don't know, a tire or something, and this guy became famous because he ate a bicycle. Not only did he eat a bicycle, he ate a whole entire airplane. Just think about that. The seats, the windshield, the engines, the cockpit, the everything. He ate a whole airplane. And in fact, he ate 18 bicycles in his lifetime, shopping carts, chandeliers, TVs, beds. Now, why the heck would he do this? Well, first of all, he became famous on it, but he also had like an iron deficiency craving sort of thing, and he liked the taste. He liked having this extra metal in his bloodstream. But how the heck do you eat an airplane? How the heck do you eat a bicycle? Well, you can't just bite into it, right? I mean, your teeth aren't strong enough. You can't just eat these chunks of it. You'll choke on it. You'll die. So what he did was he filed down the airplane, the bicycles, into this fine little powder, and he carefully measured it out, and he sprinkled a little bit on his food every day, and so that way he could, digest it, wouldn't get sick, wouldn't do anything to him. But then over time, over the span of many years, he was able to eat all this stuff. So sort of weird, sort of goofy, but the lesson here is consistency can really add up to a lot, and bite-sized pieces can really add up to a lot. And if you're not satisfied with having your website online or your membership site done, or you're not satisfied with your traffic or number of members, well, what if you just focused on getting one member in your membership site this week? Or what if you ramp things up to the point where you were just getting one member every other day? I mean, you can do the math all the way along however you want, but those little steps add up to quite a bit. And if you just did, if you got one new member every other day, just think of after 60 days, I mean, what would that add up to? You'd have 30 members right there after 2 months, and that's a start. And now you've built a list, and now you can send that list to new offers, and now you have proof that your stuff works. You have a budget to play with for advertising next time. You can hire a virtual assistant, but you have to just get started, get those little bite-sized pieces in motion. Get 1 hour scheduled on your calendar and take at least one step. Just find the time throughout the day. I mean, we all have a bunch of things going on, but we can always set aside time on our lunch break, in the evening, wake up an hour earlier, give up TV, don't go hanging out with your friends one day of the week. We can always carve out the time, but just find the 1 hour, put it on your calendar, stick to it, take that one step. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to be encouraged because you've now set a habit, a pattern of setting you're going to do something. You schedule the time, you find the time, you get focused, you do it, and then it pays off, and then it just works again and again. So let me share with you the best advice I ever received, and here are 5, I guess it's like 5 little pieces of advice, but this is some of the best stuff, and it might seem sort of obvious and simple to you, but that's where some of the best stuff is the obvious and simple stuff. So here's the first thing, it's to work backwards. It's that, I guess common sense would tell you, or maybe even just looking at things on the outside, you know what? That's a whole other trap, is seeing everyone else's outsides, comparing it to your insides. You see someone else's outsides, and what do you see many times when you think about a funnel? You see someone's funnel. Well, maybe you opt in and there's some sort of free thing. Maybe it's a free report, free book, free membership site access. You sign up for someone's free thing, and then they say, oh, now that you bought the free thing, why don't you buy this $7 thing? Let me change pen colors here. So they say, let me buy this $7 thing, and then let me buy this $47 thing, and then buy this $97 thing. And so people see this sort of, and you've seen this sort of funnel, right? You say, let me, here's some weight loss offer. Here's some quick free 1 hour weight loss video. You sign up for the free thing. Then they say, well, now that you checked out my weight loss offer, why don't you buy my $7 report on intermittent fasting? And then you buy that and they say, now that you checked out intermittent fasting, why don't you check out my weight loss app or my meal plan for losing weight in 30 days? And then you buy that and then you say, well, how would you like to get my whole 8-week course, right? You've seen this sort of thing where it starts free, walks you up the ladder. And you might say to yourself, all right, well, this is the way I've seen it. Let me just make the free thing first, then I'll make the $7 thing, then I'll make the $47 thing. But here's the problem. Here's where this gets messed up, is that people say that's where I'll get going, but what if it took you a month, just to be realistic, because this might be something new for you? What if then 2 months from now, you're on the $7 thing? What if 3 months from now, you're building the $47 offer? Now this is like months later, right? And you might have gotten distracted, tired, discouraged, because maybe you made the free thing and you got a bunch of people signing it for free, but you're like, oh, I don't have anything to sell them now. But then you had something to sell them. Maybe you made 50 sales at $7, but you're like, 2 months of work, I'm only making $300. So even though this is what it looks like on the outside, you know what makes a lot more sense to me personally is to work backwards. To say, all right, if I'm going to make my 8-week course, and screw 97, let's make it 197. Let me make my 8-week course and let me create the web page first. Let me create just that first module. Let me sell some people in it, and let me, since it's 8 weeks anyway, I just get people in it. I only have to have that first week in there. Now I've bought myself some time because I don't have to create week 2 until week 2 happens, right? I don't have to create week 3 until week 3 happens, and I can do the sessions live. I can ask my members about stuff. I can readjust, but make the big thing first, because then what can you do? You can say, I've now made this 197 8-week course. Let me just pull out a module of that and sell that for $47. Now in that module I pulled out, let me get it transcribed, and here's the meal plan portion. Now I don't have to do all this extra work. And then now let me find something that maybe I'll go through the whole course and just make some bullet points, make a checklist of what's in it. Now there's the free thing. So to me, it makes a lot more sense to start with that high ticket thing and then pull out some pieces, or to get something transcribed and then kind of work our way backwards. Because number one, we get to the money first. Number two, we don't get tired. We don't use all our energy up on the free stuff and the $7 stuff. We use that good energy on the $197 stuff, and it all lines up, right? It all matches up because you're giving them little tidbits and pieces of the big offer. So now the upsells aren't some weird random things. That all matches up. It walks them all up through the line. So don't spend all your time on this free or this low ticket stuff. When you see people putting out, free YouTube videos, free articles, they're doing publicity on podcasts, things like that, they've done that after they made the paid course. So make the paid course first, pull out the pieces, and those are your upsells. Sell what people want, not necessarily what they need, because what they need on its own is boring. And what excites you might not excite your target market, and what even you need might not excite your target market. I got my start doing teaching PHP programming, and some of the things that I wanted to teach, some of the nerdy advanced stuff, very few people wanted to know. People were more interested in the simple stuff, like how to make a website. Now this is huge. Any idea you have or anything you're excited about right now, the excitement's only going to last 3 days. I guarantee it. And you might say, well, you know what? I've been excited about my business for the past 6 months. Well, were you excited every single hour of every single day? Probably not. And you might have had those down hours, those down days. You might have had to recharge or get your excitement back. But the lesson here is work fast. If something's got you excited right here, right now, drop everything else. Cancel all your other meetings or all your other obligations. Just focus on what you have to do right now for the next 3 days and get everything else to a minimum, because you're going to lose momentum and excitement before the week is out. You have a good idea on Monday. By Thursday, it's already kind of fading. So don't leave things in an unfinished state. This is huge, and this is why I like to have the sales letter done first. I like to have that buy button on there, that first week, that first module, have the email sent out, just those bare bones minimum to hope for the best, plan for the worst, knowing that I hope that I can get that excitement going, but I'm going to assume that I'm not, and I need to get things in place as fast as possible, get the money coming in as fast as possible. That way I'll see the money coming in, I'll be excited and motivated to do more. And you're not doing yourself any favors if you're piling on 20, 30, 50 things to do every day. That's a recipe for either doing lots of small, inconsequential things that don't matter, or just piling on a huge to-do list of things that you know deep down that you'll never do. Instead, keep it simple. Do the 4 things most important in your business, and this means things like batching, chunking, scheduling, all these things that are possible where maybe you'll record 5-10 YouTube videos and then put them all on a timer. Maybe you'll batch up 5-10 podcast interviews and then schedule them out on your blog. Maybe you can write 3 or 4 quick emails to broadcast to your list and space them out a week apart. That way, you don't even have to switch gears back to that chore of emailing your list. You did it while you were excited, and then the computer does the work while it's playing out on a timer. And here's the most important thing about all the advice here is if you're ever trying to get clear about your focus, your decision making, your motivations, think and look towards questions. Questions must be answered, and this works as far as playing mind games on yourself, as far as being more persuasive, as far as being more entertaining. Questions must be answered, and that is the focus of what we're talking about today, because we're talking about a quiz plugin, and we're talking about how you can use this quiz plugin to make your membership site stand out, to give it that different look and feel, to get your members more results, all these great things. And you know what? If you finish your membership site and you get people in it, you get people buying in it, you get them results, they're going to be a lot more excited and interested about the next thing that you have to offer, right? Pretty much everyone on this call right now has bought tons of different plugins and courses and things from me and Lance, and you've gotten results, and that's why you're here again, because you want to get more results because you're hooked on the Robert and Lance train, right? A lot of people out there don't care, both buyers and sellers. So you need to get people caring. You need to care about yourself. Questions are the way to do it. Let me give you a couple of interesting examples. And I think this will apply to a lot of you. Like I'm looking at some people like Paul. I always forget. Are you Paul Bass or Paul Bass? I always forget. But we have this guy in the audience. His name is Paul Bass. I don't know. Like the fish. So Paul Bass. All right, there we go. And I mean, he's been on the last couple webinars, and he used our WP import plugin to put some articles on his website, and then got picked up by a magazine, and it's the coolest thing ever. And so he's a writer, and I mean, I'm a writer too, right? I have articles on LinkedIn. I've been publishing a blog for 10 years. I put out a broadcast email to my list almost every day, but I still get stuck, just like you, right? It's easy to get stuck no matter how often you do it, how good you think you are. You get stuck writing that blog post, writing that marketing email. So is it okay if I show you how to get unstuck in this dreaded thing called writer's block? Well, I hope so. So make sure to go and say yes in the question box if it's okay to show you how to get unstuck from writer's block. So here we go. I'm going anyway. The problem, and you probably know this part already, is because you're looking at a blank page. You look at a blank page, you're like, what am I going to do? If I write 1 or 2 words or a sentence, now I'm just looking at a page of just a sentence. So it's like, I can't even get started. Or there's nothing on the screen to push you forward. So maybe you have like an outline or some bullet points or some ideas, but you're looking at that blank page. What do? Well, how about this? You can say, well, let me write the title of my blog post first. And you put on the blog post title, well, here are the best WordPress themes. And you're looking at that title of your blog post, and it's just the best WordPress themes, but you're like, I'm dreading like the next 2 hours of this. I'm so bored. So how about this? What if you turned your attention to a question? What if instead of saying in your blog post title, well, the best WordPress themes, what if it was something like, what are the top 3 must-have WordPress themes for dentists? So now this is longer, it's clearer, but more importantly, it's asking a question, and even more importantly than that, it's phrased as if someone was asking you a question. And this is the best mind hack I've ever come across in my entire life, is you write down a question, but you phrase it as if someone else is asking you. You look at it and you're like, oh my gosh, I already need to start answering this question in my head. So this pulls you along. I mean, when I was younger, back in the days of instant messaging, remember AOL Instant Messenger, remember ICQ? Well, if not, I mean, I guess Skype and Facebook Messenger still exist. But if you're really, really stuck, what if you opened up Facebook Messenger and what if you typed this in and you messaged this to someone? And then you looked at what you messaged to someone and then you just typed in a 1-sentence answer. And then you put in another sentence and you typed in a 1-sentence answer. Questions would drag you along because you're not just filling space. You're not just saying the best WordPress themes. You're saying, what are the top 3 must-have WordPress themes for dentists? So now your brain, the gears in your brain are already turning and you're saying, okay, now I'm thinking of, okay, WordPress themes, but not just them in general, but the top 3 ones, the ones I must have, and they're for dentists, and it's a question. Now I can't not answer it. Now think about these dreaded things called headlines, right? Haven't you heard about this? When you have a web page, a sales letter, you have to have these headlines on top to get people in. The best ones are questions. You come to a web page, it asks, who else wants to blank? What would happen if blank? Do you suffer from blank? Do you make these blank mistakes? Now it's something that pulls in your visitors, but for you also writing the dang thing, now it's easy for you to go ahead and answer it. So questions can solve almost any problem. So if you're stuck with taking action, ask yourself the questions, what steps should I take to get there? I can't make a membership site. Well, fine, let's pull back. What are the steps? Domain, website, put on WordPress, put on your membership software, put on some content, put on the payment button. There you go. Those are more doable steps. You're eating the bicycle. You're eating the airplane. If you have any mindset question, business, financial, social problem you're trying to solve, don't use Google the question, whether you realize it or not. So you're thinking of, well, I have this problem. Now, what's the proper question to ask to solve the problem? Then I'll go to my Facebook group, post on my Facebook wall, search in Google. So that way I'm clear about what I'm solving. And because it's a question, it's 100% clear if the problem is solved or not. It's not vague anymore. So if you're stuck writing that sales letter, blog post, or webinar, then how about this? Place a question above each paragraph you need to write and then answer each thing. So you say, here's this first question, here's this next question. So it's like, what's the first most must-have WordPress theme for dentists? What's the second best WordPress theme for dentists? What's the third best WordPress theme for dentists, and why is it different than the other ones? And then you go in and you write out your answers in here. And then when you're done, you just go in and you delete the questions. No one had to know those questions were ever there, and then the end result is something that pulls people along. It's concise, it's exciting, and most importantly, it didn't take you 2 days to make it. You did it in 20 minutes. So place a question above each paragraph you need to write, answer those questions, then remove the questions. Now, if you've ever struggled with sending out emails to your list, building a follow-up sequence, things like that, what if you asked your list some questions, right? If you're trying to sell someone on that weight loss course, well, then instead of saying, well, here's some weight loss facts, ask them some questions, right? Ask your list, well, what have you done so far to lose weight? What methods have you used? What diets? What exercises? Ask them questions, get them to reply. And that'll pay off for you in a bunch of ways, right? Because now, I mean, you don't have to write as much content. You don't have to vomit all these things onto them. They love it because they don't have to do all this reading and studying. And they love it because now they can finally get heard. Again, most marketers don't give a crap. You do. So now you're asking questions of your list, and then now this gets your list engaged, and you can ask them different questions to bring them along to your offer, and you get all these interesting answers, and you don't have to do like, a survey. You don't have to ask 20 different things. Just ask, are you still stuck with losing weight? Why are you looking to lose weight? Are you looking to lose weight for that upcoming wedding, high school reunion? Is it for health reasons? Are you just like getting older, having the metabolism issues? Well, you get all these answers from your list, and you just tell them, reply to this email, tell me your fears, tell me your answers, and then they pretty much write the copy for you, right? They kind of make your membership site for you. Now you don't have to play that guessing game. They're telling you what they want, so why not give it to them? They clearly haven't gotten the solution yet. Now you're the one to give them that solution. So Lance mentioned, and he doesn't even know I have this. He hasn't seen these slides. Lance, when he introduced me, mentioned choose your own adventure. And I don't know what age you are out there, but when I was a kid, there were all these choose your own adventure books, and they were freaking awesome because you'd read some book and they'd say like, you're coming to this problem. To do this, go to page 7. To do that, go to page 27. And they were the most fun because it was like, it wasn't just reading the next page, reading the next sentence. You could jump around in this book, and your decisions would affect how you came to different parts in the book. And there were all these like knockoffs that were really great. And basically, if you're not familiar with the concept, here's kind of how it works. So this one would be, so you've time traveled back to pirate times, and the pirate says, hey, either join my crew or die. And it would say like, you could choose to join his crew and you'd go off on some adventure, or you could say heck no, and then you'd be on your own. And the plot of the book would change based on where you're going. And so here's an example of that. So here is one, I guess it's like a samurai book. And so here you're talking to this dude, and he's like, you don't move. He draws a sword on you. And so if you decide to run, go to page 78. If you decide to fight him, go to page 11. And then sometimes you'd end up at a happy ending. Sometimes you die and have to start the book over again. But it was so much fun. You would just fly through this book. It was so much fun as a kid. And you know what? What's the difference between this and some big, thick, long, boring pirate book that's 300 pages? Not much, right? Just that things are configured in a different way, and you actually use your brain a little bit as opposed to just letting the stuff wash all over you. So in the same way, questions tickle the brain a little bit and get the gears going. But what's also magical about questions is that they're also automatic. If I asked you, what day is today? What day of the week? Well, you're already thinking in your head like, oh, let me look at my calendar. Or maybe you already know, and you're thinking, even if you don't want to answer me, then your brain's already thinking of the answer. How about this next one? You ready? I'm going to ask you a question. Don't answer me. What's 2 times 2? Don't think of the number 4. Don't think of it. What's 2 times 2? You can't help it. When I ask you, what's the one thing holding you back? If I ask you, what would you accomplish if you knew you could not fail? When you say you're going to do something and I ask when that web page, when that membership site will be done by, well then now it has all these great effects, right? You have the answer, and it forces you to get focused and clear about where you're going. So now things aren't vague, things aren't someday pie in the sky. This is a specific question. You provide a specific answer. So here's a specific question for you. Who else, here we go, here's the question headline, right? Who else wants to create a membership site that brings in consistent members, money, and recurring income? If you want this, then go in the question box and type in yes, because we're going to talk about and show you some of this fun stuff today. So who else wants to create a membership site that brings in consistent members, money, and recurring income? All right? I mean, who else wants this? I think you do. So this is all leading to micro commitments. So if you're stuck and confused about your website, well, would it help if I showed you at least how I do it? So I'm not asking you to go and do all these steps, make your own website, but just watch how I'm doing it. And then it'll crack open the door a little tiny bit and let a little bit of the light in to get you going to where you need to go. Is it okay if I show you WordPress? I mean, I hope it is, because WordPress is the way that we're going to create this really cool membership site that stands out. Now, do I have your permission to show you how to make a website, show you how to use WordPress, and show you how to make your membership sites stand out? And if I do, are you open to some new and exciting outside the box thinking? Well, I hope so, because we're going to dive in and we're going to show you something that's, I think it's simple once you get the hang of it. We might move around really fast and do some technical things, but just pay attention to the possibilities and the end result and what's possible if you knew the exact right clicks, the exact right cheat code on the website to use. So what if that cheat code existed? What if a plugin existed to make your membership sites stand out from the crowd? Well, that plugin exists, and it's called WP Quiz Builder, but I'm not just going to say, oh, go to wpquizbuilder.com and just trust me and buy it. We're going to start completely 100% from scratch, and we only have a few minutes left in this call, so we're going to have to zoom around really quick, but we're going to install and use this plugin called WP Quiz Builder, and I mean, I'm hoping that you don't get overwhelmed by all the technical stuff. I mean, if something's over your head, just kind of let it wash past you. But I'm hoping that you'll be excited and amazed at just how quickly we can, I don't want to say throw something together or slap something together, but just how quickly we can move here. So let me just show you this. So we're at a completely blank website. This is called membershipnewbie.com. There's nothing at all on this site. You might have seen this kind of a blank page on a website. Like, we haven't set up literally anything. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go to this back-end area of our web host called a control panel or a cPanel. And you can get a website at doubleagenthosting.com. But I'm assuming if you're here and we're talking about membership sites that you already have, I mean, let's face it, you probably have a couple, at least a few domain names, and you have some kind of a web hosting account. I'm hoping so. But anyway, we can even assume that you just have nothing set up like I do right now. We can log in on this control panel. We can say, build a new WordPress site. And the days of having to upload, edit files, create folders, change permissions are gone. We've moved past that. It's the 21st century now. We can just go to this control panel and we can say, build a new WordPress site. And this is taking a second. All right, so connection reestablished, had to pair on the phone, and the router is rebooting, so we might just be using up all the data in my data plan, but either way, we made it work, and I'm hoping that the speed is fast enough. So anyway, and this is great too, because I mean, again, in this day and age, things still can go wrong, but we can find a way back in to, we have phones to pair things if the internet goes bad. So I think what I'm going to do is in about 10 minutes from now, I'm going to see if we can switch back to the internet. If not, we'll just keep going. So anyway, we went to our website.com/cpanel. And then what's going to happen is we log in. And the place to go is build a new WordPress site. Click on build a new WordPress site. And then it just asks us for where to put it. We don't even have to pay anything. We just say, where does it go? We'll set up a WordPress site at membershipnewbie.com. Click next. And then it just asks us for things like, what's the title of our blog? What's our username? What's our name? What's our actual name? And then we run this. So I'll click on install. And then after I do, I'm going to hide the window from you. That way I can get the password to log in. So I'll click install. And on the other screen, it's installing WordPress. And then, all right, so now it says it's done. And then there's a button that's, need to log in. So there's a button I click that sends me over to this special login page. And all I have to do is copy my password from the other side, put in my username, put in that password, log in. And that's literally all I had to do to get a WordPress site online. Is now there's this thing where I can log in here, and here's my dashboard. I can go and visit the site. And a few minutes ago, we saw there was nothing at all here. Now there's this whole blog with the search form and the hello world and all that stuff. So just like that, we clicked a couple of buttons. Now WordPress is up and running and online. What I'm going to do next is I'll go to my plugins here and I'll clear everything out. So I think of this like getting a new laptop. When you get a new computer, they have all these programs already on there for you and they just load it up. So I'm going to select all these plugins I don't need and say delete. So this way we'll be completely starting from scratch here. So delete all this stuff. And by the way, let me know if the screen is updating fast enough for you. As I said, not sure how quickly things will be zooming along paired to the phone, but that's what the replay's for also, right? So anyway, go to the plugins. Now we have no plugins. We go to the site, and now here's just the site on its own. But if I say, I don't like the look of this with the plants and I have to scroll down to see stuff, I can click on this customize, and I can just click around until I get the site that I want. So I click customize. Ooh, actually, this might even be going faster than my internet connection normally. So I don't like this theme. I'll say change, and I'll change it to this 2016 thing. I'll preview it, and I'll say, all right, this is a lot better. This is a lot simpler. So I'll activate this, and just like that, I've completely changed the look and feel of my site. So isn't this way better than the old dark ages of having to upload files and change stuff like that? You just click around and it's done. So we have our WordPress site here. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I will be installing, let's see. Let me just log in here, and I guess I'll install this quiz plugin. So I'll be installing a membership plugin like Wishlist Member, maybe in a few minutes here. But what I want to do is show you this WP Quiz Builder plugin right here. So what's really great about WordPress here is that technically what you could do is you could go to users, all users, and you can say add new, and you could create a user and make them a subscriber, and you can make someone, give someone the ability to log into your site, but they can't edit it, right? They can just be a subscriber. So technically, and if you keep this web page hidden, technically you can have an area where people can log in and do things on your site, and you would have to create people's accounts manually, but that would get you started. So I'm just gonna start with that. And we'll say, well, I'm logged in, I see this site, and we're gonna grab this WP Quiz Builder plugin, which you can grab at wpquizbuilder.com. It works with any WordPress membership plugin, so we prefer Wishlist Member. If you don't have that one, a low-cost option is membergenius.com. Right here, I think this one is $27, but the idea is WordPress plus you log in, right? See, I'm logged in as Robert Plank. I'm logged into this site. So we have WordPress and we have WP Quiz Builder. And after you go through the checkout process and all that stuff, then it'll bring you to this page here that says, here's the video on how to use it. Here's the zip file to grab it. And then here's your license key and all that. So I'll click on this and I'll download this plugin. I'll go back to Membership Newbie. I'll go to my dashboard, I'll go to plugins, add new, and by the way, what I'm about to show you, if you know WordPress, this is real basic stuff, but if you don't know WordPress, this is like 50% of what you need to know about WordPress, seriously. The other 50% was probably clicking on that customize button. So you go plugins, add new, and then upload plugin. And so you click upload plugin, you click choose file, and then we find that file that I just downloaded, this WP Quiz Builder thing. We open, we install now, wait a couple of seconds, and then now activate plugin. And then now this just adds on to what is built into WordPress. So this is what's great about WordPress, is out of the box, it's just a blogging platform, but you add these plugins that just make things way better. So then we can click on this register link, and it fills in our stuff. We save that key, and now we're ready to create quizzes on our site. And so just imagine this scenario where you have a membership site, you have different modules, different videos, and at the end you say, in order to advance, you need to choose your own adventure and take this quiz in order to unlock the rest of it. Or you could say, here's all the modules, here's all the stuff in my site, but you need to take this quiz to test your knowledge. So here's what you can do is, so let me give you a couple of examples here. Is we could say something like health, like beginners health quiz. And we can just say, here's my quiz. And then we scroll down, and we can even skip most of this, right? Like, who cares about what we say for some intro text. Who cares about yet about, if they pass the test, what to say? Who cares about if they fail the test, what to say? Let's look at these questions. So we can say, maybe you taught people about like calories, right? So like how many calories should you take during the day? And maybe is like 100 is not enough, and maybe 2,000 or 1,500s or 1,600 is a good amount, or maybe we'll say 4,000 is just a crazy amount, right? And so we say, here's how many calories to take during the day, and these are our options. Or then we can say, for the next question, then we could say, which of these foods should you eat more of? And you can say, maybe should you eat more fat? Should you eat more protein? Or should you eat more sugar? All right, so we can create just this quiz with this list of questions here. How many calories and which of these foods? And so now you've made this quiz, and the best way to check this quiz out is to just test it on yourself. So we scroll up to the top and we say, well, let me just click on this and check out my quiz. But here's the first problem here. You see how at the top it says like preview is true and all this weird stuff? So we see because it's previewing it, it's not quite yet live. We can see how it looks, so we can answer these kinds of questions, but it's not yet live for our users, for our members. So we can go back and close some things down here, and we can say, well, it's not yet published. Click publish to make it live. So when we publish it, and then we click on it again, and then here we go. Now here's this quiz we have. And then if we say, all right, well, next thing is I don't like all this, the URLs like index.php, all this weird stuff. So we can go back to WordPress, and we can go to the settings permalinks page or screen, and it's like, oh, this is why, because it's putting all this weird stuff in here. So let me make it simple. Let me just say the permalinks post name. That way it's just something real short and simple. Save my changes. And then go back here to Membership Cube WP Quiz Builder. And now if we view this, we can see, okay, that's a lot easier, right? Now it's just a quick, simple URL. But if I still don't like this, I can edit the quiz, and I can change this, and I can just make this beginner. This is just the beginner text. I can update this, and now I just send my logged in members to this beginner quiz, and now they can answer the questions. So let me try answering the questions the incorrect way. I'll say, how many calories? Let's say 100. How many foods? Let me eat more sugar. Submit the answers, and check out what happens. Well, it says that you only got one of those right, and you passed, so what the heck happened there? Well, let me edit this quiz again, and let's see what happened. So we see, oops, and this is first of all, so the correct answer should have been 1,600. The bad answer was 100. But then something else we noticed is we said, well, anyone taking this test will receive a passing score. So we could say, well, maybe they can get some right, or maybe they have to get 100% perfect in order to get it right. And I'll show them what they got wrong. How about I'll do that? So I'll update this, and I'll view my quiz. But here's the problem, is you already passed it. You view the results, and here's what happened, is you got these answers correct or these answers incorrect. So let me edit the quiz again. Let me go to my results here. Let me delete my previous results. Let me take the quiz brand new again. So I'll view this, how many calories, I'll say wrong answer, and I'll say wrong answer. So you failed, and because you answered different things, I think I even got that, I think I put the first weird answer there. Okay, so the correct answer. All right, so anyways, so we have those quiz questions right there. And then, so here's what happened, is we can say, I'm not going to allow someone to continue on until they've gotten a perfect score on that quiz. So I'll go back to the beginner quiz and we'll say again, now you can take it again. So now we can say, maybe I'll answer the question, submit the answers, and then now I passed. Now we can see what questions we said there. And so now we can say, all right, now you passed the test. So you can set up your test here. And I'm sorry that I think I was zooming around real quick and setting these questions up just really quick. But you get the idea here, right? Is that you can say, you haven't passed, you haven't passed, you haven't passed. Finally, you get the right answers, and now you can pass on to wherever you want to go. And you can say here, if you have the passing score, you can say, congratulations, link to move on to the next step. Or you can say, here's a YouTube video saying great job. Or you can say, here's a download link to this PDF report. And if you didn't pass, you can say, sorry, you didn't pass, but here's a PDF document to go through again. Or here's a YouTube video from me saying keep going. So you get the idea, right? You can customize this any way you want and reward people if and when they pass your test. You go through and view the quiz again, and you say you passed the test, view the results, and then here we go. Here is the text, the extra information that's only unlocked if they pass things correctly in here. So that's a great possibility, right? Is that now instead of having to drip content or overload people with tons of different things, you give them that first module, they pass a test, it unlocks the next module and the next module, and you can go through your results and you can see which of your members have been attempting to take the quiz. Maybe they need help. Maybe they passed all the quizzes. Maybe they need some sort of congratulations. So you have all these different possibilities in front of you here. But here's another interesting possibility here is you don't necessarily have to make a quiz that people need to know things in order to advance on. Let me give you an example here. We can say I'll add a new quiz and I'll say, have you heard about this thing called GDPR? Everyone's all getting scared about it, about this whole like privacy compliance thing. So we'll say, here's our GDPR compliance quiz, and we'll ask them some questions. And we'll say for these questions, things like, do you have have you updated your privacy policy to account for security breaches, what you do with data, and the right to be forgotten? And you can say it's just a yes or no question. And then we can ask, do you force people to accept cookies? You could say yes or no. Do you treat EU web traffic differently than others? You can say yes or no. So you could ask all of these yes or no questions here, and you can see that the correct answer is always yes. So it's not like someone has to study up for all of this stuff. You can just look at this quiz, and remember, we previewed it, it's not yet live, then you can say, well, I know that the answer is yes, so when I'm filling this in, when I'm answering these questions, it's just a matter of have I asserted, affirmed, agreed, promised that I did yes, yes, yes. But don't forget, we need to go back to this quiz and say, what's the score, right? They have to answer yes to every single question. They didn't really need to study or know anything. Just make sure they say yes to everything before allowing them to move on. We publish this quiz, and we might even shorten the title here. Update that. And now they can go through and say yes, yes, yes. But this gets even crazy more powerful when you add a membership plugin such as Member Genius or such as Wishlist Member. And let me show you what I mean here. I'm going to go to this really cool site called wishlistmember.com, and I already have a plugin, so I'll go and log in and grab their plugin. I'll go to my downloads. I'll download this plugin that I need here. All right, I've downloaded their plugin. And then I'll go back to my WordPress site. Where do I go? Plugins, add new. But once we get to that page, we're not going to search for some of the free plugins that are available from WordPress themselves. We're going to upload the plugin. And is my cell phone slowing things down? Come on, cell phone connection. All right, upload plugin, choose file, and then Wishlist Member. So we're uploading this other plugin called Wishlist Member that allows us to take payments and get things done automatically. So activate plugin. And just as before, we have to add our license information. So I'll click on Wishlist Member and I need to get this key. So what I'll do is I'm going to click to show my license key here. So I'll drag this off the screen. I'll grab my license key. I'll copy it. I'll right click and here we go. Now Wishlist Member is ready to set up. And I'm not going to go through this whole thing about Wishlist Member, but what you can do is have these things called levels. And you can say, here's module 1, and there'll be some content associated with that. There's module 2 and some other content associated with that. So when we add these levels, the power of a membership site is that you can have different things people can go to or unlock. And what we can do is go to our quiz builder here. And now that Wishlist Member is enabled, we can say, now they're a member of our site, but see how it opens up all this cool stuff, right? Now on the sidebar here, it says, well, we can restrict this to only certain members. So for now, I'll say all members can take this. And if they pass the test, then now they're added to module 1. And we're not going to do anything fancy if they fail the test, but let's just keep it simple. Any member can take the test, and if they pass the test, then I'll put them on module 1. And to get even crazier or open your mind to some other possibilities, we can even say something like, notify me if they pass or fail, and I only let them take it 3 times. Or if I'll be nice, they can take this in a day, they can take it 3 times. Or how about they can take it once a day, right? So if they fail, they need to wait a day and go back and study up and take it again. So we can update this. And so just to recap, anyone can take this test, but if they pass, now they're added to module 1. So you view the quiz, we already passed the test. So let me go and delete my previous test taking results. We'll delete this and we'll delete that. And then what we'll do is go back to our quizzes and we'll say, all right, well, anyone can take the beginner quiz, but then once they unlock that, then I want them to be able to move on to this next quiz. So now we say members who can take the quiz, members who are added to module 1, and if they pass that, then we'll move them along to module 2. So here's how this can work. As we update this, and then what I'll do, again, I'll zoom around really quick here, is I'm going to, whoops, 1 second here. I'm going to link to some of my quizzes here. So I'm going to make what's called a menu, and I'll create a menu here called quizzes. So we'll make this, and it'll just be a link to the quizzes that are available. So we'll say WP Quiz Builder. We'll just link to all these different quizzes, and we'll put it in this order: beginner, then the GDPR, and we'll put it on the primary. Well, 1 second. We'll save this menu. I'll visit my site. I'll customize my site. I'll click on this pencil because I want to have the links to the quizzes over here. And then I'll say add a widget, and I'll put in a navigation menu. I'll drag it up to the top, and I'll have my quizzes, and I'll say these are quizzes you can take. And right before our eyes, this fills in for us. So we'll publish this, and we'll X out and view the site. So right now we can take this beginner's health quiz. So we'll go through, we'll click on this, we'll answer stuff, submit the answers, and now you passed. Now it has some congratulatory stuff. It might link to the next quiz, but now you see on the sidebar here, now we can see these, now we can see this extra other quiz. And now when we view our own profile here, I can go down here and I can see that because I passed that quiz, now I'm a member of Module 1. Pretty neat, huh? Just because I earned it, now I get that kind of patting myself on the back feeling of passing a test. So now I'll go and visit the site, and then now I'll go and move on to the next quiz that there is. And then, so remember this one was if we say no to things, then it's like, okay, well, you don't even need to study, you just need to say you did these things. So let me just try and say no to all the answers, and, oh, you failed. So now you have to take it again. So luckily, this was not one of those where they have to wait. They can just take it again and again. So now I'll say, okay, I know, now I get it. I'll say, yes, I did this. Yes, I did this. Yes, I did this. Submit the answers. Great, you passed. And now when I look at my profile again, I can scroll down and I can see now both of these are checked. So now I'm just moving right along to these different modules of my site. So think about all the possibilities here, right? You could have people earn their way through your membership site, and you can have them earn their way through the core modules of your membership site, or just to maybe unlock some extra bonuses, right? Unlock a coaching call, unlock a PDF transcript, or just unlock some just extra goodie kind of bonus. You could have people just answer knowledge so that they know that they've done the right things. You could have them answer things just to kind of promise you that they've taken the steps. So all these possibilities are now open in front of you when you look beyond the piling in all the extra videos, piling in all the extra stuff. You can actually make things fun, interactive, choose your own adventure for your members. So this plugin that makes it possible, this plugin we've been showing is called WP Quiz Builder, and it works with Wishlist Member or works with Member Genius, and technically it works with any WordPress membership plugin because someone logs into WordPress and the test results are applied to their own account. So you can now quiz your members using multiple choice questions, and as you saw, allow them to retake it again and again, or say you can only take it once, you can only take it 3 times, and then maybe you have to go in and manually delete their old results or reset, or maybe you can say you can take it once an hour, and if you failed, you have to wait an hour to take it again. And then when you have a special plugin like Wishlist Member or Member Genius, you can grant access to, as you saw, additional content or levels when they pass. Now, additional content could just mean that you give them the access to the next quiz, right? They're on Module 1, they can get on quiz number 2, but a level means that they might get access to a bunch of extra posts or pages or things like that. So it doesn't just mean that they unlock different quizzes, they can unlock whole other sections of your site that they wouldn't have been able to go through unless they answered these things correctly. And answering correctly can mean a lot of different things. You can have that affirmation quiz where it's just yes or no answer, and the correct answer is yes, the wrong answer is no. So did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? If all the answers are yes, congratulations, you've moved on. You can have a straightforward knowledge quiz where you test them to see if they understood what was taught. Here's a really crazy idea I want to throw out at you, is a certification quiz. So what if you made them pass quiz number 1, which unlocks quiz number 2, as I showed you, but then quiz number 2 unlocks quiz number 3, and then they go through like 10 of these. They go through 10 different quizzes, and by the end, now they've finished. Now, what does it mean when someone's finished? Well, if you have our WP Kunaki plugin, you add them to a directory. If you have that checkbox checked where It sends you an email if they pass. Maybe that means you send them a congratulatory email, you drop something in the mail to them, or whatever passing certification means. I mean, heck, maybe just go to your printer, print out a certificate, and then send it in the mail. I mean, most people don't do that, but you do. You can have that bonus quiz where you offer a video, transcript, worksheet, download, scheduling link, whatever, that they only could have accessed if and when they passed the test correctly. And like we saw, you can make it where any score passes, a perfect score passes, halfway, anywhere in between. You set the rules using this WP Quiz Builder plugin. This plugin allows you to create an unlimited number of quizzes. You can install it on as many sites as you own, use it with or without Wishlist Member. Now, as you saw, when we installed Wishlist Member, it unlocked a bunch of extra menus where you can allow them to unlock levels and advance on. But still, if you have any sort of WordPress-based membership plugin, you can quiz your members and monitor member progress and more. So the tool for this is WP Quiz Builder, and the final price of this is going to be $97. But the price is increasing soon to $47, but it's not quite there yet. For you today, right now, it's $37 for unlimited sites and developer rights. Developer rights means that you can install this on client sites. So if you have a client who has a membership site and you want to install the quiz plugin for them on their site, you can't hand it off to them, you can't give it away, but you can grab the plugin, install it yourself. That is allowed. That's developer rights. Do that on as many sites as you own or sites that you don't own. So in the future, we'll be offering developer rights as a separate thing. But for now, right now here today, you get that early bird discount price plus developer rights and unlimited sites. So go ahead, do it right now. If you've been wanting to make membership sites fun again, then think about micro commitments. Think about questions. Think about allowing your members to test their knowledge or take that little bit of action to move along or to just show you that they know that what you taught them works, that they understand it. So WP Quiz Builder is the plugin that you can and should apply to add quizzes to your sites. And here's how to get it. Go along with me. The place to go is WPQuizBuilder.com, WPQuizBuilder.com. Put it in the chat box for you right now. WPQuizBuilder.com. There's a video on this page showing you how the quiz plugin works in action. You can scroll through and see me using it just like you saw me using it before. You go to this bottom area, you click the button, it's just $27. We're increasing the price to $37, and we look forward to seeing how you use it and what extra benefit you get from it, from getting extra sales, from people seeing that it's a different sort of membership experience to go through. When people buy, they actually get results, they get to the end, you get more member engagement, you get people buying more of your stuff, and you get a better pulse, you get a better feeling of the pulse on how well they're doing and how they're progressing through. And it's just a different way of teaching people. It's a way more fun activity for people to go through and earn their way through your membership site, as opposed to getting overwhelmed with all this stuff or waiting around for drip content. Now, it can be a truly interactive experience, and you do it with your WordPress membership plugin plus WPQuizBuilder.com. So we're about to close this webinar call down right now. The place to go is WPQuizBuilder.com, and we'll see you there. We'll see you on the inside, and make sure after you get the plugin and install it and use it, drop us a quick line and let us know via email how you're using it, what you're using it for, and what kind of creative uses you're using from this plugin. We're going to add a lot of amazing features to it, but we want to see how you use it. So WPQuizBuilder.com is the place to go. I'm Robert Plank from WPQuizBuilder.com, and thank you.